What's up, guys? We're gonna BroBeatzTV. Today I'm gonna be showing you guys how to make a LazerDim type beat. So we can go ahead and get started. I'm gonna make this extremely easy because it is easy. So we're gonna be starting with a sound. So you're gonna want to use like some synths or synth bass sounds. So this is just what I have. You don't need this exact sound. So for the melody, the cool thing about this is you don't need to, and I'll just grab in like, let's do a C minor real quick, just so we can have some C minor. We can close this. So the cool thing is you don't need to do a lot because this is really bass heavy and the melody just really needs to be in the background. It just needs to be noise. So what we can do is just use our little tricks here. We're gonna put it on our root. Maybe this is fine. I'll zoom in for you. So we're on C. I'm gonna go up 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. So we have our fifth. And then of course we want this to be dark, so you can kind of play around with these two notes here. Okay, but what you would do with these notes is pull them up an octave because you don't want it to be too basic. You want to have a little melody to it, and then you just play around with these notes. So we could just do a basic pattern, like, let's actually shrink these down, and we're gonna do something like this. Okay, and it doesn't need to be exactly like how I have it, but something like this is what you're gonna want to go for. And I'm gonna just delete these, and then we're gonna copy it over. So I'm Control B a few times. Yeah, and if you want to add variation, you can, but this is pretty much it. This is all you really need to do. And this, let's play it. Right, if you want to add, like I said, some more tension or whatever, you can, but I think for this video this is perfectly fine. We can go ahead and move on to our next sound. Now we're on to our second sound. So all you need to do at this point is just kind of copy it over, but you just want to kind of mix the sounds together. So I picked this sound here. This is like a delayed sound, so I like sounds that do the work for me, so I don't have to add so many effects later. So I just picked this sound, and if you want any of the sounds I'm using, drums, whatever, it'll be links in the description and comment section down below. So I'm gonna just copy this. You're just gonna literally copy it. Okay, you want to be lazy when you make this stuff. Okay, and I think I'm gonna take this original one and I'm gonna move it down 1 octave. So we went from D5, well, D6 to D5. This is for our first one here, and then this is our new one, which is up 1 octave. Again, if you want to add other notes, you can, but I think this is perfectly fine for what I'm trying to show you. So let's go ahead and do the next one as well. For our last sound, we're actually going to change the notes this time. So this is the sound that I chose here. So something a little bit more strong in your face will work for this. So like a lead, like just any synth. So what we're gonna do is just kind of make this unique. Okay, now when we add effects or whatever, you don't need to add effects, but I would encourage it. This all will kind of mesh together to make like one different melody. So what you could do here is you could just use the same tricks we used before, but just now you just kind of cut out notes. So we can use the G, the C, the G, and we can start with that G. Let's pull it up. And we know these things work because these notes are all in harmonies, right? So you can use any of these notes here. But I want this to be dark, so I'm gonna change this to 1/4 beat. Get like a weird little vibe in there, so I'm gonna pull that up and let's see how that sounds. And I think that's fine, so let's continue. You just want to have a little bit of fun with it. It doesn't need to be like the best thing ever, but let's pull this down, and then what we're gonna do is pretty much kind of want to just play around with this a bit. I'm gonna Control D this, pull it up, and this is where it's gonna get a little tricky. So I'm gonna take this D sharp and make a chord upward from it, and then I'm just going to zoom in. So I'm gonna pretty much just cut this like that. Let's just see what that sounds like. Just something, trying something new. So we're going from G to G to G. So I'm gonna shrink it down now. yeah, and I think that's good. So I know I'm all over the place. It's just when you have these notes that go super high and super low, it's kind of hard to keep it like large so you can see the note I'm using. So I'm gonna actually just copy this and pull it down an octave like so. And I think that's good enough for the melody to be different and for people to like remember it. I think this is different enough. And then of course we're gonna put these on bar so they repeat. So whatever drum patterns we put in, it'll all like come full circle. That is the melody. So I think what we can do now is I kind of want to do effects, but I think we do that last so it's all at once and it's not confusing to bounce it from the effects to the drums and then back to the effects. So now we'll go ahead and add in our 808s. Now we're gonna go ahead and get into the 808. So this should be pretty easy, except with this you can kind of go a little crazy with the 808 because everything will be pretty simple. So we're just gonna start on our roots. I'm gonna make sure we pull this velocity all the way up. Yeah, you just kind of play around with it, see what you like, don't like. I'm gonna try to keep this large. Okay, and I think that's a decent pattern to start with, and then we can just make variation as we go. And maybe we can have a little fun. Let's do 1/4. Maybe we could do that G. Let's see how that will sound. And I'll probably need to turn these down a bit just to see. So here's how my velocity looks. I think that's fine. It could use some work, but I think that's fine for what we're trying to do. And then I'm gonna copy this over to right here. So now we're at bar 5. I'll just cut it off just so it's easier to look at. And all we're gonna do is just shift some notes over just so it's like different. So like I'll just throw in like a clap or whatever, just so you can see. Just change these notes so we know these are the ones we changed. All right, so this is the whole pattern. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and move on to our drums. We'll do our kick and perks and everything. Now we're gonna go ahead and do our drums. So we're gonna start with our kick, and one thing I do want to change for the 808 is I want to change these parts. So the second one, I'm gonna just pull it down so it's gonna sound like this. Just so it's a little melodic, just my preference. And then for the kick, we can just kind of throw it in. So I think that's fine. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this here. We can make a new pattern. Oops. And just copy it over just so the drums can be a little clean. And then yeah, let's just throw these in. We got a lot of sound, so we could just do a lot of layering. So I don't know, just maybe. I just want a basic pattern first, so I don't know, we could do like, try something like this. right? And I'm layering these to make the impact of them hit a little bit harder, because just bare bones. All right, but when we have all this together, it just hits way harder. So yeah, let's, and I'm gonna just do something like this. And I wonder if I could play around with the panning on this. I feel like it's not even changing really. Okay, I like that. I think that's good for the drums. So this is what it would sound like. And of course, it's not repeating. Just do that. All right, whatever. We'll listen to it in the effects section. So let's go ahead and do our effects to make the sound a little bit better. Let's get started with the effects. So I didn't do a lot. I did a lot on the master, but for everything else, I just kind of kept it the same. I just added like some bare bones stuff. So for the drums, I put every drum here into one track. Okay. And I just tried this little thing. I was going to use a transient processor, but I just decided to try something new. So I just use this like vocoder or whatever. And yeah, this is just what I have. These are just the settings that I was tweaking with. So if you want to copy, you can. And the reason I added this is just to try to make it sound more synthy. So this is what it sounds like off. I'll mute. And then on. Just to give the beat or like the drums some character. And then of course you pull up the high frequency a bit, like so. Yeah, and then the kick 808, I just kind of spread the 808 out just so it's like wider, taking up more space. You could probably put the kick in mono. Pretty simple stuff, you know, not a huge difference, but just it's a little bit more unique now. So now for the rest of my sounds, I kind of put these into a bus. So I highlight everything, hover over empty channel, right click, and go to track routing, route select to track only, boom. So now all these sounds are in this bus. I'll mute these real quick so you can see. Okay. As you can see, there's a lot going on kind of. So yeah, we take out the bass, and then I took out the highs and boosted kind of everything in this frequency, just because of how my melody is. Just to make it sound a little bit more like alien like. So here we'll go over this real quick. So in order, I have this elastic pitch and I pitched it up all the way. Okay, so I just pitched it up all the way, and you can see I kind of have that halved a bit. So I'll just play all these individually so you can see how they affect them. So this is on. And the reason why I like pitching it down or up is because it's a quick way to kind of, you forcing everything to kind of fuse together when you do that. So that's why I like adding like this plugin. And then on top we have this Fruity Delay 3. So this is at 4. If you look up in the left hand corner, it's at 4. And then everything else is just preference, I guess. And pretty much just default. And I just turn the wetness down. And as you can see, I turned it down here. So this is on. yeah, and that's pretty much it. And then I have a portal preset on top, freeze cut. This is in Mako. So yeah, I just added this. You don't really need to add this. I think it's fine the way it is. But this is what it sounds like now. Yeah, so just made it sound a little bit, you know, crazy. So yeah, that's pretty much everything. And I guess now we can go over the master. Okay, so we have this Fruity Shaper. This is just bare bones, just to add some rumble. I don't even think it's really doing anything, but it just sounded like it was, you know, doing something. So frequency splitter, one of my favorites. So what I like to do with this is, especially with stuff like this, I like to kind of boost that low a little bit. This is about 4.2 dB. So if you want that exact increment, there it is. And then I like to take out the mids a bit, because usually with this style, the melody isn't really the main focus, right? It's just the vocals and the 808. So you want to push it in the back. So I just kind of pulled it down, right? And of course you want to have those drums crispy. So I'm gonna pull those up and play them as we go through. Oh, wait. Now, personally for me, I feel like the melody is a little too in the background, but it's just kind of how it is. So yeah, and then on top we have this, and this is, I just want to take out some of the bass, because obviously you can hear the bass is like I mean, that's how it's supposed to be, but the bass is going crazy. So then lastly, you know, the beloved soft clipper, and this is at -10 dB, and obviously this is to kind of control it a bit, but you want your 808 to be distorted, well, not your 808, your beat to be a little distorted with this style. So yeah, that's it. I'm gonna just play it a few times with everything on. I'm gonna just kind of turn some drums off, on. I'm gonna just click through. So and that's gonna be it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed, and make sure you like, comment, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.